chair that has been founded in this university. And somehow these two people here are probably the main contributors for such a successful achievement, to have such a chair related to such specific language or culture or nation is not an easy issue, and this is why I'm thankful to you for all the support I have been receiving. Of course, our Dean, as our Vice Rector, this is not only a group of colleagues, this is a group of friends. And so they are among friends as well. And also not Vice Rector, but the second director of our department as a director was occupied, so he was able, and I thank all of you for coming as well to this opening session. I'm not going to take a lot of time because we will talk about all the activities of Nineveh Chair, but it's just in order to tell you this year's title is a continuation of the previous ones, because for us language and history are the main points of what we are developing within the Nineveh Academy Chair. And each year we add a specific topic. Last year it was identity, this year is continuity, because these topics are also needed in knowing well or being conscious of the necessity of clarification of several issues and topics. I think the academia is one of the best places where such topics must be dealt and discussed and developed. This is why, as you can see, this fourth International Congress will deal with Assyrian language, history, and continuity. Doing it in Salamanca is it's a natural place. Last year we did it in Paris in order also to somehow encourage us an issue of Professor Ephraim and his many fields, history, many fields, history, language, culture, linguistic, but also medicine. Artificial intelligence. Our Dean and Vice President are not surprised. They know that we are working on it, but linking also the development of the Assyrian language to this new era is highly important. So we have experts here that will deal also with this topic, where artificial intelligence is part of the activities and development for the next years. Because as any other language, the Assyrian language is also an alive language. So we have to try to also to be updated. And Professor Sargon Hasso is one of our assets, for instance, and Rawa is going now to join. They are doing a huge job in this sense. So they will explain it better than I do. In less than we think, the Assyrian language will be able to be transferred from its handwriting to its printing and its translation. This is what we are trying to do within also the Nineveh Academic Chair. As you see, there are, as I told you, there are many topics, but also we do have other experts who are trying to combine fields are becoming part of the activities of the Nineveh Chair. So I'm grateful for your effort. I know, we have here almost all of them, they are Assyrians. Most of them are Assyrians, but coming from different countries and continents. United States, Europe, Germany, France, London, and so on. And of course from Ashur, from Iraq, northern Iraq. So we do have representations from many countries, from Sweden, from Denmark. So this is for me one of the best signs that what we are doing is a positive, a fruitful issue. So putting our efforts together fighting for this important, let's say, struggling, would I call it, together is one of the best signs that we have. We are still learning how to work in a collective way. There is a technical term, سعتنايت, to work together despite our different fields, but we put them in common what is going to be produced. All the works will be published. There is a committee will, of course, analyze these works in the Journal of Assyrian Academic Studies that, by the way, is now officially linked to the University of Salamanca. So there are many things that we are doing and gradually progressing and enlarging our, let's say, activities in order to do a good. Just tell me when I have to stop, because otherwise I'm going to lose all your time. So just welcome. We will have the chance to talk about these issues among us. And again, thank you very much. Thank you for the university. Thank you for my and our faculty, and of course our department, that really they are not only supporting in a theoretical way, but as you see, they are a full supporter of such activities. And this is why I wanted to express my deep thanks for this support. And this is just the beginning. We have a long way to go. We have many things to learn and many things to contribute. Thank you.
So, thank you very much, dear Ephraim. I pass now the word to Professor Miguel Ángel Aijón, Deputy Director of our Spanish Language Department.
Thank you very much. I first would like to thank Professor Yildiz for inviting me as a representative of the Department of Spanish. I must say that the area of Hebrew and Aramaic studies has already a long tradition in our department and our university. Even if it's called Department of Spanish, it is actually a multilingual and multicultural institution which is composed of many areas and groups, and where various languages are studied, significantly Hebrew and Aramaic. And the Nineveh Academic Chair is one of our proudest achievements. Its contributions to our scientific production are no doubt remarkable, and I am sure that this conference will provide good samples of this. As you know, modern Assyrian has more than 4.5 million speakers. Still, it is poorly known across Spanish universities and in the Western linguistic tradition. As linguists and historians, we're all aware of the need to study, preserve, and promote the language, history, and the cultural heritage of the Assyrians. Their minoritized language represents an enormous literary, linguistic, and socio-cultural wealth. This is the fourth conference organized by the Nineveh Chair, and I think this has become a global benchmark in this field of research. So, the Department of Spanish and Other Languages wants to wish all of you a very pleasant stay in our university and in Salamanca, and very profitable scientific exchange during these 3 days. So please enjoy this conference, and for our part, just thank you very much. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much, Miguel Ángel. Now, the Dean of our faculty, Professor Manuel González de la Meja, has the word.
Okay, hello, good morning. As Dean of the Faculty, of course, I would like to welcome you to this space. I hope you are happy here and that you enjoy your conference. Of course, if you need anything, just let us know so we can do anything to improve your experience in our faculty. Yesterday I was checking the program, your program, and I couldn't help but smiling, because the week before I had been in a conference of deans where we were discussing mainly
it was a conference of deans of humanities, faculties of humanities. And many of the issues that we were discussing throughout those two days are represented here. Well, if you check the program, you see that the opening lecture is about how Assyrian linguistics, historical and literary legacy matters. What we were discussing throughout these 2 days last week was why humanities matters. Very similar. And the second issue that was discussed once and again throughout those days was the importance of how humanities deal with the new technologies. The second conference you have here deals with that also. So that the problems or the issues that you are discussing here have a lot to do with the issues we were discussing for humanities in general. And that's, I think that that's what we have to do. We have to insist once and again that humanities matter, that humanities must be studied, and also that they don't belong to the past. That we study the past in order to walk into the future. That the new technologies, the new ways of thinking, the new ways of looking at our reality are rooted in our study of the past, our history, our language, our culture, and so on. And we have to do it to say it very clearly. For example, an anecdote. Last year, our government created a large committee of scientists in order to advise the government in several issues. They did not invite any member of the humanities. All of them were just scientists, and we were not included as part of that scientific world. That's a huge mistake. That's why we have to insist once and again that our investigations, our research are pertinent, that they are useful. We don't have to justify ourselves, but we have to repeat once and again that what we are doing serves not only for the present, but also for the future. So I'm very thankful that you are here today. I'm very thankful that you have chosen our city, our university, to share your knowledge, to share your research, and also I hope also to enjoy yourselves. So thank you very much for being here, and welcome.
Dear Professor de la Leja, Dean of the Faculty of Philology, dear Manolo, dear Professor Ijon, Deputy Director of our Spanish Language Department, dear Professor Gildis, President of the Nineveh Academic Chair, dear Ephraim, dear colleagues, friends, and also participants. It's a real pleasure to be here today with you and to be able to open the 4th International Congress of the Nineveh Academic Chair, Assyrian Language, History and Continuity. I have been following this chair since its foundation by Ephraim, by Professor Yildiz, and it's a pleasure to see that this group of people that are working together is growing and growing year after year. So this 4th edition, I think with each edition, Salamanca has become more and more a world center for the study of the Assyrian language and culture. And this is a great achievement. And this is, above all, thanks to Professor Ephraim Yildiz. So thank you very much, Ephraim, for making Salamanca the World Center for Research in Assyrian Studies. I was not still at the end. I want to thank you sincerely, Ephraim, also on behalf of the President of the University of Salamanca, for your dedication and for your vision. You have worked tirelessly to connect people, to connect institutions, to connect cultures. And because of you, this chair has become a living bridge between the past and the present, but also between the West and the East. It's important that we celebrate the cultural and spiritual heritage of the Assyrian people. I am not Assyrian. So in a world where memory is often fragile, your work reminds us that language and culture give meaning and dignity to human life. Today, when Christian minorities are being persecuted in so many places, this conference carries a special weight. It is not only an academic meeting, it is also an act of remembrance, of solidarity, and of course of resistance. The Assyrians show us that resilience is the only true path forward. Their culture and their faith, your culture and your faith, have survived centuries of hardship. Their example, your example, tells us that identity can endure, even in the face of destruction. So, taking these words into consideration, I wish you a very fruitful and very inspiring conference. May it bring new ideas, new collaborations, and renewed hope. And I also hope that you will take your time to explore and to enjoy the city of Salamanca, a city of knowledge, a city of light, and above all, a city of friendship. Thank you very much.
Bueno, tú te quedaste.
So, no, solo para dar unas, just as you see, they are really good friends. Just a question of being colleagues. Thank you for you three for being here. For me, it's very important having them here with me. It's not just an academic issue, it's also somehow emotional part of all this process. So thanks again. Now we are going to shift into our full program. I know that your agenda is highly committed with other issues, so thank you. At 11:30, if you have time, you are most welcome to have a coffee with us for the break, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Vega, ¿puedes venir un momento? Vega, ven. Oh. Do you hear me well now? It's better now or يشموتني بس ما تعمل بطرة. ¿Puedes decirles que vengan a subir un poquito la voz, el altavoz? Sí, el volumen, sí. Okay. I'm going to be brief. I hope that you will hear me better now. As you have seen, as I told you, now we are going to start our first session. I'm going to be brief, so I will give a bit more time to even much more important conference than my one. To Professor Sargon Hasso. Why I have chosen this topic, why modern Assyrian linguistic, historical, and literary legacy matters, Nineveh Academic Chair's initiatives. You know, the Semitic languages have been studied at different levels. I will start from this part of here. Arabic language has studied in an independent way. Hebrew and Aramaic, in this sense, have been studying in an unbalanced way. At the beginning, when the biblical studies started having a solid basis for this scientific field, the so-called Aramaic language was studied as a complementary to the Hebrew, to biblical Hebrew. This is why when you analyze the literary production upon these two languages, you see a highly difference between the two languages. One is quite well developed, but the other one is studied, developed, a kind of being a complementary study to the biblical Hebrew and so on. Why? Because at the beginning, in reality, it dates back when the archaeology starts discovering many new issues. Imagine the cuneiform script was totally abandoned and it was regained. But in the biblical field, of course, Hebrew had a stronger basis, and even the names of such terms, Semitic language, biblical Aramaic, and so on, were totally invented by scholars. Therefore, you know, this unbalanced way has been until probably the end of the last century. And 70%, even 75% of the works are much more focused on biblical Hebrew, biblical literature, and so on. And the Aramaic and the Assyrian legacy as a whole has been less developed. This has two main reasons as well. Because the Assyrians are the unique people that have their right for their territory, identity, what a nation needs, but we weren't lucky to work as the other nations, our neighbors, to develop these tools, this means in order to also show and reveal our, how would I say, simta, what I call in our treasure, to the rest of the people, but also to the Assyrians themselves. So This is why now the concern, why the Assyrian legacy matters. And what is needed to develop this legacy as any other legacy of the world, like the British, the English, the French, the German, the Spanish, and so on. Well, the Nineveh chair, when it was thought to be founded, had this kind of vision upon how to contribute that the Assyrian legacy becomes not only a question as a private issue between the Assyrians themselves first, but rather also to convert it into a reference for the future generation, for the scholars themselves. This has two, let's say, two ways of how to understand, how to develop this fields, because it's not just a language, a history and culture, it's a whole. We like many issues, science, law. We were the founder of science, the founder of laws. We were founder, and then we have gone back, and now we are struggling for one single issue. Our biggest concern is the Assyrian language. Somehow, no? This is why the concern of the Nineveh Academic Chair has become a kind of focusing on those aspects that are highly needed to be developed. First of all, among the Assyrian scholars, among the Assyrian experts, and using also the Western scholars and the Eastern scholars in order to do not a only necessary job, but an important renovation process to commit with. When we talk about Assyrians, most of the people link us only to the ancient period. Oh, sometimes, do really the Assyrians exist? They're asking us. Now the question has always, persecuted my way of doing the things. Why are we only linked to the past tense? Despite we are a current reality as a people, as a nation, as a language, as a so on. This is why, for me, the Assyrian linguistic, historical, and literary legacy matters. But not only in order to keep it alive, but because I know that so far the people discover it, they learn a lot of new things that were just hidden, they were put aside. Nineveh Chair's activities have as their main goals this policy: studying, conserving, collecting, developing, and spreading. So it's not just a chair. In reality, it's a chair that touches many fields: investigation, research, teaching, training, I will talk about it now, and also spreading. We must become the best ambassadors of our own legacy. But first we have to learn it. Here we are few people who have this concern to deepen in our legacy. But at the same time, if we go a bit beyond this small group, there is a huge need to educate the Assyrian people in their own legacy, historical legacy, linguistic legacy, literary legacy, and so on. We are not only Assyrians when there is a hugya and a dance, a convention. No, it's much more. This is why Assyrian legacy matters. Now we are about the fourth International Congress that aims to, to raise this awareness, this concern, but also this fight in order to do something useful for the next generation, in order to establish a basis on which the new generation can start working. This is why it's important having many experts here in different fields. It's not just a question of Assyrian language, but we need also a platform where the language must be taught. So Sargon and Rawa, they have a huge work to do through us, through the rest of us. This is why the Assyrian legacy matters. And as you have seen, the biggest part of our conferences are up in the modern period, modern Assyrian language, Assyrian history, modern Assyrian literature, and so on. Why? This is the part that has been totally abandoned. Only few PhDs are coming out in a systematic way. And not only in English, in French, but also in modern Assyrian. We have here Susan. Hopefully she will defend her dissertation at the end of this year, which is totally written in modern Assyrian language. I know it's a huge work because we are not used to have such works today in a natural way. We have people who publish in our language, but doing research in a systematic way in and within the academia, if I compare what we do as nation, as people, in relation to the others, we are too late. But better late than never. This, I see the negative part, but also I see the positive. The Assyrians have a big gift. They are big fighters for their values. But we have to know and to learn how to put this intelligent fight way together, to combine our efforts in the fields that are needed to be developed. I'm going to talk less than it's on the program, so we can have also a bit more time for break, and it's the first day, so I know that you are quite tired. Some of you might have even jet lag effect until now. So, just for those who are for the first time here, the Nineveh Academic Chair and activities are based on three main pillars. One of the priorities of Nineveh Chair is how to develop the modern Assyrian language. We need a method, we need means, we need human resources to really do a good job for the future. This is one of the pillars that Nineveh Chair, since its foundation, is working on it. You know, this teaching the language, it goes back even to 1997. When I started teaching at the university in this faculty, it was in 1996 I started giving a short course, and then in 97 I saw what was needed. And this is a long project. This is not just Nineveh Chair is, let's say, the last step of a very long hard work period. Nineveh is also part of what we call Hebrew and Aramaic studies. If you go through our website, you will see the Department of Hebrew and Aramaic Studies and the degree, the official degree we have here. If I compare with what I started, Biblical Aramaic was the first course I started with here. Now we have at about 45% of the whole official degree, not only national but European degree, that deals with your and our language, history, and culture. This is the way how we should start working in different educational centers. Associations are a good initiative, but they are not enough. We need academia to feed the associations, to feed the several Assyrian cultural centers and so on. This is why education, as you have seen, is the priority of Nineveh, is our priority. Without education, we won't be able to continue to survive. If we don't teach to our kids and to the rest of the society who the Assyrians are, what language they speak, what a big treasure they have, then with the time all these elements gradually they will come down and at the end disappear. This is why teaching the language is one of the, let's say, priorities of the Nineveh Chair. But not only teaching it here, because I have started at about 20 years ago. We have a whole year modern Assyrian language, which is called modern Aramaic, in the program. We have here students who have started teaching it thanks to this small effort we have been doing here. Then, research. I don't know what the Assyrian community worldwide thinks, but what I'm convinced of is that without research, we won't be able to do a good job for the future. And doing research is not just a small or a person or a small group must commit with. This is what I call si'tana'id. I insist on it. We have to be able to create, to work on what an Assyrian academic council needs as any other nation. If you just go through the websites of any nation, Spain, Germany, France, and so on, they have their academic council officially paid by the states, and millions are invested every year only for these three fields. And then there are other scientific fields. But we are in an urgent need of establishing these working groups, combined by experts, combined by those who have dedicated their life to the research. Otherwise, what Professor Ephraim or what Professor Nicholas or Rava or Robin do and many others who are here is a contribution but not an effective one. So the invitation of Nineveh Chair and the aim and the goal of it is to put all of us together and start working in the field where we best are trained. Not only where we have had limited education. We have even here psychologists who will teach us what has been wrong and what is needed in order to fight for this resilience, cutting the trauma we have through the genocide and so on. So there are many reasons why the Assyrian heritage as a whole matters. The third pillar of the Nineveh Chair, of its activities, is training. It doesn't make sense fighting for keeping alive the language, keeping alive the history, but without giving continuity. We should not depend always on the mercy of the others. We have to learn to depend on us. We can use the others for such a purpose, but we have to depend on ourselves. We have to be a kind of group that must learn minnan illan, to develop all these fields in order to give continuity. This is why the PhD students that have started have as main goal to keep this continuity assured. I'd love to have much more PhD students, but it's better than nothing. We have now, of the 8 PhD students I have, 3 of them are from Assyrians. 1 from Ashur, other 2 from Europe. Another one is coming from Ashur again, and probably we are going now to receive 1 from the United States. This is what we have to do. But at the same time, we have to train them in the fields that are needed. Many people are writing me, Professor Ephraim, do we have scholarships for studying engineering or architecture or medicine? I said, no, you can do that because my priority is based on the need that a certain nation needs. Keeping, developing, and spreading the Assyrian language is the priority of the Nineveh Chair. So the scholarships are given only for the research of and training of the language, history, and literature. And we are now gradually starting. This is why, before closing now, I would love to express my thanks to individuals, but also to the Assyrian associations that have seen the need of not helping, but investing. We are not asking you a help. We are asking you to invest in our own heritage, in our language, in our history, in our literature. And this is gradually becoming, a bit much more solid through those who have seen what the Nineveh Chair is developing, and they have contributed from the beginning. Therefore, my deep thanks to, for example, to the Assyrian Foundation, which was for the first time, who supported us. Then gradually also the Assyrian Association of Southern California, they have started now supporting the language branch. Assyrian Art Institute that has supported us and is still supporting for some research projects as well. So, and individuals, but also yesterday I was talking with Dr. Jonah. He said, well, we are going to contribute, and so this is the way to have a budget to work with and to invest it in our what we call our simta, our legacy as a whole. But especially your contribution coming from far, in investing your time. It's not just a question of collecting money, but it's also collecting this love and this decision to work for the Assyrian cause, starting with education. So, therefore, my thanks to all of you who are here doing a huge effort, not only on time, but also sometimes many of you are contributing in the way that you are coming by your own fees. This is also a sign for me that we are on the right way. We are doing gradually better or committing with our duties, protecting, developing, and spreading our legacy. This is the way how I understand why the Assyrian legacy matters. If we are able to establish from now to 2035-36 a solid basis for this, then the continuity is assured. Then we can show to the society, not only to the Assyrians, that the Assyrian question matters. This is my way of how I understand our fight, our struggling for keeping alive the Assyrian legacy as a whole. And I am sure that we will achieve it, but we have to learn that the time, now the concept of the time is totally changing. Those who are in artificial intelligence, we just take the train and we look then for the compartments in order to know what to do, or we lose the train forever. We have, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't know. We have 2 decades, let's say, to establish what is needed in order to assure the continuity. Diaspora is in huge need. Now, the biggest part of our people live in diaspora. And there are intents of organizing things, but there is not an organized body to work in a systematic way on it. And this is absolutely needed. Or we ensure the continuity through publishing good works. This is why from here, Nicholas, I told him to come here, and from here is going to France to start working. And I know it is taking probably his many activities that were foreseen in Ashur, but also that work is needed. So let's put in common in order our efforts in order to assure at least a solid basis which will help us to keep alive our language, because our kids need to learn it, to develop our modern and ancient legacy in a balanced way, and also to transmit it as it deserves. As I told you, I have become a kind of ambassador without willing it, of just saying, who are the Assyrians? Because the people link us, as I told you, to the pastors. And you are here, you are touchable, no touch, but the people need to know more about your richness. And if we don't do it, nobody will do it for us. So let's work in this way. Let's put our efforts together, because Assyrian legacy matters, and I'm sure we will, in less than 10 years, do probably the double what is just now on the paper as Nineveh Chair's project. Again, thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Thank you for contributing and for participating. This is not a key note conference, but I wanted to start with it in order to tell you that if we see the Assyrian Common Cause as a whole, despite all what happened, we are still positive. Let's work in this way, with energy, with intelligence, and with hard work. then we will achieve this dream to become, we are still, but officially, to become a nation that has settled its basis on education in order to teach the kids from the beginning and to give continuity to such a wonderful people, nation, legacy, language, history, and so on. So thank you again for coming. Sargon, if you can come. Before Professor Sargon, yeah, please, just come, go ahead. Just a few words, because we are, after his conference, we are going to have a break, coffee break. It's just, you go out, left, and you just go to the next, how do you say, cloister, where we are going to have our coffee. For those who are not still registered, in order to, please keep your badge, especially from this evening onward, because we have the restaurants booked for all of us, for those who want to, but take your badge with you in order to, they can make then the control how many people have been attending and so on. And we will update you gradually. The program, you have it, but then we will inform you what kind of activities, additional activities we are going to have and so on. And now, Sargon, is it okay? No, but we have to connect it. ¿Dónde está, Diego, dónde está Vega? No. Can we, do you have, are you able to connect or not? No, but is the computer is the other one, not, is this one?
I don't know which one it is.
Is that
Presentation.
Yeah. So do you have it in a, or?
We need HDMI connector. Yeah.
Just a second. But I think that one is not the, this one is connected to, no, we have to connect it to the other one.
Okay, now we're on it.
Huh?
I need
Your computer.
yeah, my computer. Is that long or not long?
Yes, I think. You have your microphone. Is it okay? Something is, no, the connection.
No, it's not connection.
It's you, oh, okay. Does it work? No, but here it's something, I don't know. Extend. No. put it down. You have. Excellent. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Let's start with our first conference. In order to avoid moving, yeah, I'm happy and honored to have here Professor Sargon Hasso from the University or Institute of Technology, Illinois Institute. As you can see, he has a very interesting title as conference, Toward a Digital Renaissance, Computational Methods for Preserving and Revitalizing the Assyrian Language and Cultural Identity. I told before that we are in new era, and counting with such important and well-trained people is a sign of what we are doing is we are on the right path. And Sargon, thank you for all the effort you are doing. Sargon is also part of the Nineveh chair. He is not only here as expert in artificial intelligence, but also he is one of the assets for the Nineveh chair's activities. And the platform that we are going to develop, he will be one of the main, let's say, actors in order to have a platform where our language will be not only digitized but also taught. So there are so many things that he will for sure delight us with this new era where the Assyrian Renaissance has still started. So thank you for coming, and the role is yours.
Thank you very much. قدمتوكم برخصفرو. Hola, buenos dias, good morning, صباح الخير. So my talk is حمزمت دي إلى الوث خداثة رقمنا يطخنت خاشوقة خميتا وخييتت لشانا أشورا وهي يوتا مردتانيتا. Basically the English version of what I just said. Towards a digital renaissance, computational methods for preserving and revitalizing the Assyrian language and cultural identity. I'll be talking about some interesting things. I have many projects, and I lumped them under one umbrella. I called it the Makaru project. And I'll be talking about the significance of digitization of Assyrian language, for Assyrian language preservation. Digitization, not only taking pictures, but going beyond just, imaging books and putting online. And I'll be talking about what technology, how we can use technology to create some applications. And I'll be talking about 3 specific apps. One is dictionary, which is online. I call it Duprano Dictionary. The other one is how to use the OCR, HDR, optical character recognition, handwritten text recognition to read text or written text, printed or written from manuscripts. And I'll be talking about specifically about this platform that we built. It's an open source. Open source, that means it's free, but we created models to use it. We call it eScriptorium. And I'll also be talking about what I call modern language corpus project. I call it Ashur Text. And we'll talk about future projects, and then I'll be asking you to help us with these efforts. So the Makaru projects, Makaru is an Akkadian word. I use it as a code name for these projects that I'm working on, and my team, of course. And it has to do with, well, the Makaru is actually an Akkadian, just for FYI, it's irrigate to water something. So I think of a language as something that you plant. So unless you take care of it, water it, give it food, if you don't, it will die. So it's everything about preserving and enhancing the modern Syrian language. The mission of this project or projects is preserve, enrich, and grow the modern Assyrian language through infrastructure and software platform development, and to provide innovative solutions that support the Assyrian community throughout the world. I have a process. The slides kind of, summarize it. Is we will be harnessing, taking advantage of the OCR and HDR technologies. Then we'll be converting these printed text to digital formats. Part of that is recognizing handwritten text, and I'll show you some demos. And then we will be expanding what we call text corpus, the body of text that exists, and we will be using it to uncover overlooked books, manuscripts from 500 years ago up until now. And we'll also transform that text. We'll make it what we call, we put it in a form that's accessible for research and analysis. And we can also use it for basically AI to extract insights and identify linguistics features. And this is all toward one goal, which is will help us understand, enhance our understanding of modern Assyrian language. Here are some samples of handwritten manuscripts that are been neglected. Normally, they will be found in boxes, in homes that maybe a father or maybe grandfather or maybe it's been handed down, but no one, the next generation, they don't take care of that. So you will see things like this. I'm pretty sure you will find it in a lot of homes, but it's been neglected. So the idea is how do we reach to that text? And these are two examples. One is this one on the left, is a dictionary from, I think, beginning of the 20th century. And this was in a library, and there was, again, it's actually a 450-page long book, but again, it's neglected. It exists. Luckily, someone, digitized it and put it online, but which is good. That's good first step. But we need, so it's from physical existence. It needs to be transformed into digital format, and then once we get to that point, then we add the other thing that I'm going to be talking about. And this other one example is from our very good friend, Nicholas Algilu. He discovered some of these, again, in boxes somewhere in Iran, in some village. And it's a manuscript. At least this is one collection that has 12 manuscripts in Assyrian, which I think talks about the daily activities during one period of Islamic revolution and the topple, when Shah was toppled in Iran. So, and unfortunately, this manuscript, as of now, doesn't exist. It's still in its physical form, and it's in the possession, under the custody of Nicholas Algilu. It's these type of things that we need to take care of. We don't want you to store it in your house for whatever reason. I mean, for obvious reason, I should say. God forbids, there's, rain, fire, you'll lose it basically, and then we'll lose a treasure. This is another manuscript where on the left is by Yusuf Bitkulya from 1925. Actually, he was from Iran. He went to Russia, and he translated these. We have some friends from Russia, Armenia, so they'll know. They should know this. These are fables by Russian fabulist Andreevich Krylov, and I asked, Russian friends. They say, yeah, this was when they were children. They had these children stories. The nice thing about this, he translated this into Assyrian. Unfortunately, it exists only in manuscript. And this book that you will see, which I have only copies, it's about 500 pages. He has many other things in this book. We don't have the original manuscript. That's unfortunate. We don't know where it is. Luckily, we have at least a copy of it. So again, it's in a form that is preservable. That means we can do something with it, and I'll show you what we're going to do with it. This, on the other hand, on the right-hand side is there was a person by name Louis Koda or Khodabash, I think. He translated, no, he reversed the Simtat Lishana Suryaya, which is Tuma Odu, which is Syriac dictionary, Syriac. He used it as a basis to create an English Syriac dictionary. It's, again, over 1,000 pages, and it exists only in this format, in a digital format. I think he spent a lot of time. Unfortunately, he died. His house burned down. Luckily, at least this manuscript existed. And due to a friend of mine, George Kiraz, he was very generous to happen to have it from the author. But that, we don't know about other writings. These other examples are from the one on the left is a manuscript from the Hill Museum and Manuscript Library, Hill in Minnesota. And again, it's Lishana Swadaya, so it's a manuscript from 1939 under the title Ktawat Martianuta al-Gimiruta Yatar Khasa Mabiyana Bkhaya Pamzamiyat Nasha Qashisha Rowal Yusuf Arsanis. On the other hand, on the right-hand side is a manuscript. I know it's kind of small, you don't see it very well, but it exists in digital format. It's almost like, I think it's about 600 pages. It's a history of some kind of history of church. And anyway, but the manuscript, I did some estimation, it has almost 276,000 words. And I'll show you why we need that, that this is important. Anyway, so what technologies, what platforms have we built? This is an example of digitization and text recognition platform. It's eScriptorium. Basically, it will take the image. We trained it to read, train it how to read Assyrian, and then once we train it, then we'll give it pages, and it will be able to read it for you. And in fact, let me just show you real quick. So it's just give me a second. This is live, so it exists. Here's an example. Oh, my connection, let me see. Okay, I can ask. Yeah, okay, we lost connection. That's fine. Too bad, but let's see. Just give me a second. If I can restore it. No, I cannot. لا 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 بلخلا. لا. Okay, that's fine. We will, it's coming, but I cannot display it, but let's see, why is that? Oh no, you can see it. So here's an example. This is again live. This is the actual image on the left, and this is the actual transcription. So this is a handwritten, a poem from 1933, Semele, Min Gunkhad Semele. So what you see here is the actual handwritten text, and what you see at the bottom, after we trained the computer how to read, it will read it for you. So this is, and once it's in this format, you can do anything you want with it. So you can copy it, you can change the font, you can do whatever. And this is, I'll show you a couple of lines. This is second line, and so on. So that's this technology that that exist and it's usable. And I show you this example, the handwritten text, because it's more challenge for a computer to read it. Even with that, it does a good job. Printed text is even actually easier for a computer to read. So just to show you the power of technology, how much the technology has advanced nowadays to do something like that, like this for us. Let me go back to the presentation. The other thing is, the other project is called the Prana Dictionary. Basically, it's a collaborative multilingual digital platform dedicated to preserving the modern Assyrian language. It's a lexicographic initiative that brings scholars, technology, and community engagement. It's online. Many people, anyone can work on it. Of course, with permission, not everyone, but and the value of this is basically it goes without saying, to safeguard the richness of modern Assyrian by uniting diverse dialects in one shared resource or repository, empowers global collaboration anywhere, anytime. Anyone can actually contribute and ensure accessibility. This is an online platform, so you don't have to install anything. All you need is just a computer and a keyboard that Assyrian, of course, and then you'll be able to actually contribute. Duprano is a name. Again, I use code names. These are Akkadian code names from ancient Assyria. In Syriac, it's called Daprana. It's a juniper tree. No significance. I just like the names to use Assyrian Akkadian names, and it has many features. It has head word, part of speech, of course, has definition, usage examples, and I'll show you some examples, live examples, and has synonyms, antonyms, basically like thesaurus. And we also will be providing etymology, where the word is come from. And we'll also have dialectical variation. For example, if one dialect is like Urmi versus, Jilwai versus Alqish, you will be able to see that as well. It also has something very unique we call semantic domain. I mean, we distribute, each word belongs to one semantic domain or one domain. And then you can do not only search by word, you can search by concepts. It also has examples, how to use it in a sentence, and we will also have cross-references and so on. Let me just go ahead and jump into the actual example to show you how it works. It is available online. So if I, for example, type, let's say I'm searching for Lishana. And the nice thing about this, it's like a search. It will find all the words in the dictionary that had Lishana in it. Of course, you're looking for one specific word. You can scroll until you find. In fact, right here, if I click on it, everything is clickable. And you will see, one of the things that you see here is definition. And I give examples, how it's used in the sentence. This is good, especially for a young generation who will come across a word. Maybe they're reading a book, maybe they heard about a word, but they don't know what it means, and they will see it, how it's used in a sentence. So that's going to help you basically internalize the word. Here's an example. Lishana litli germa dahi maqdaratli bitkhadar. And these examples actually not made up. These are actually from literature, and I'll show you where we got it from. And it also has multiple senses, and this is a true, scholarly compiled dictionary. So it's not like someone who has a hobby and made a dictionary. We have a lot of those. And so this one is tongue. It also has language. It also has traits, meaning it has 3 senses. So, for example, traits like إلى معلانة يما أو بدكتا أو على مناتد نارد اللستا أخ لشانة يما لشانة نارا. So that means Lishana is not only used as Lishana as a language, Lishana is also used as a, I think it's called Khalija, I think in Arabic. And the other one, of course, Lishana. For example, Lishana Akadaya Mamlad Amma, Tuma Muliple المرأة ولشانة يونايا. So that's an example. And the other thing that you'll see is relationships between parts. But we'll get to that. For example, Lishana has a relation with Pumma. And if I click here, it will go to Pumma because it's part of Pumma. So there is this what we call lexical relationship between words. So, and that's how you will be able to. In fact, you will also see it's part of Risha. So Risha contains mouth, Pumma, and in Lishana there is a part of Risha is also Sipate. So you can actually, you can navigate through these words and find them. The other thing that you can do with dictionary, if the dictionary is really used if you know the word but you don't know its meaning. But what if you just know the concept? You don't really know the word, you're looking for a word. So here's where this dictionary comes in handy. We can search by what we call semantic domains. Semantic domains like part of language that word belongs to. For example, if I want to see all the words related to sky, I can search. Notice here, I didn't type anything. I'm just saying, give me all the words that are related to sky. If I search for it, and it will give me everything that belongs to that what we call domain. And it will show you, a bunch of words. For example, Badri, Burana, Buran, Barda, Barak, Gdila, Gemgume, Gerdabule, Garb, etc. These are words that are all related to sky or air, or whatever. And any one of these you can, click on it. For example, if I want to just click on Khamana, means, hot, you can come there. So that's the other thing. The other thing that you can do also with this dictionary is, what if you want to see all the verbs that are used in our language? You're just searching for verbs. You don't know. Let's say you're writing a poetry or a poem. You are a poet, and you want to, have an inventory of all the words, and you can just search by the verbs. Just say, well, give me all the verbs. Well, so far this is, it's work in progress, and now I'll say, okay, I'll search for all the verbs in the language, and you'll see them here, in the alphabetical order. And the other thing that you can also let's see, you can see. Let me see. Is the pronunciation. Here's an example. Azil. So it also has pronunciation, and this is also good later on when we start using text-to-speech recognition. We can. That's the dictionary part. I have, plans to incorporate domain-specific entries. For example, from medicine, from math, from animals, or from technology, geometry, and all kind of entries that will be included. So we're looking for a diversity of materials, content. So it's not specific to one thing. It's going to be, remember, we have these what we call domains. Oh, by the way, those domains, there are 1,770 different types of concepts in the dictionary. So you can search by technology, you can search by medicine, you can search by like medical terms, technological terms, mathematical terms, and so on. We are also, in the dictionary, actually, we have thesaurus. Thesaurus, بنتقال دمياتا وبنتقال سقلياتا. So if you're looking, for example, قدمتا will say بليلة, خوارة كوما. I didn't show you in but it exists in the dictionary. So if you're looking for something, you want to see the synonyms or antonyms, it is available right there in the dictionary. So this is also good for especially new learners who don't know the language, but they want to look for like the words that are either similar to the word that you're looking for or words that are different. Now, so I said, you know, there is this effort requires a lot of time, but there is also, we use technology to basically extract what we call unstructured text and convert it to a structured text. Here's an example from this page on the left is Odisho Melko dictionary, and it is actually printed text or a file, a page, and on the right-hand side, I know it may not make sense, but it is actually AI-assisted transformation. So I developed a process that will take a page on the left that doesn't know nothing about what each part of the entry is, and then it looks at it and it will tag it. Tag it, that means it says, this is the lemma, this is the main entry, this is the plural, this is the IPA, the pronunciation, this is an example, these are all the senses, etc. In the left, that structure is what we call implicit. You don't see any of this. It doesn't tell you. All it says, like, for example, walita, jim, for jama', waliyate. But this gets transformed into something like this, into a tag. Yeah, it's one of these attributes of this word. So that's, again, this is an AI-assisted transformation. This is another concept that you can extract things from the computer is we give an image and then we use AI to extract entities. It's very small, you don't see it, but from this page on the left, which is an image, on the right, it extracted all the names in this document and all the verbs. Not only gave me the verbs, it also gave me the meanings of the verbs and also gave me the root where that word came. And this is another example. Again, this is the power of AI where you give it an image and it will extract whatever you want. And here is an example where it gave you the actual pronunciation, the actual citation example. That means how a word is used in the context. And it also gives you the meaning. It also gives you the root of this verb. And this is, again, this is an automated way to extract information and feed it into the dictionary. So so it will be a process that is very, very fast. So I show you an example where you can actually, there's a platform that we built that will allow you to read a text, but we can also use something that everyone has. You can actually use your, currently, right now, not this minute, but currently you can use your iPhone to take a picture of an image and then have Google, it's called Google Lens, that will be able to a great extent, not necessarily 100%, but let's say if it can give you 80% or 90 or 70%, 80% of transcription, means that it will read the text, it will convert it to, it will read the image, text from the image and extract the information from there. And this one is available, and anyone can do it. Here's an example. Actually, I was in Erbil in Syria last year, in Ashur, and there was some display, and right away, I mean, you can't see it, but this is a Syrian part, and I took an image, a picture, and right away I was able to transcribe the text. That means extract the text from that image, just using a phone. And anyone can do it. Here's another example. You can also use your browser. Let's say you have an image on your computer or you're visiting a page, you want to see what's on it. You can ask the browser to do image search, and then it will extract that information. Again, it may not do 100%, but it's good enough to where you can actually correct it. What do we do with this text? Well, we use it to extract information. So this will feed also automated way to feed the dictionary. So you're not entering words yourself. No, this platform will ingest the text, meaning it takes the text, and then it will break each word, as you can see here, will break it into words, and then you can, someone expert, linguist, will come and will look at it, and from within this application, they will immediately add it to the dictionary. So that will save a lot of time, actually. Yeah, thank you. What do we do with this text that we collect? So we have a lot of text now, right? What do we do with it? Well, here's an example of a manuscript, again, from Hill Museum. And it's an Alqosh dialect. And with the AI, you can actually be able to detect dialects with manuscripts. You train it, and then we'll be able to detect which dialect this is. And then we can use it to extract all this information and enter it in the computer, and then we can tag that entry and say this is from dialect of Alqosh or whatever the other dialects that exist. Again, these are advanced technology that we can use nowadays. So we collected a lot of text. What we want to do, we want to basically we already have them stored in what we call a repository that is available online that will allow us to create what we call digital corpus that collects, analyzes, and preserves the modern text. So all that we transform the scattered materials all over the world into one place. So you can go and search, you will find anything you want, and you can be anywhere in the world. So you don't have to go to Nicholas Gilu's home, or maybe your late great father, say, look for manuscripts, or I go to a museum. Now you're gonna come here, you're gonna search, it's gonna find whatever you're looking for, especially if you're doing research. Here's the platform that we built that will allow you to do that. It's what we call, let me show you real quick. We call it open source modern Assyrian text corpora and lexical resources. So if I look for a word, for example, Lishana again, let me search. And it will show you all the occurrence of this specific word and all the resources that we have collected. And then this we call, by the way, quick, like a word in context. And you can click on any one of this word, and it will tell you where it came from. And not only that, you can also look at its timeline. That means its usage across time. So I have this word Lishana material from 1890 until like now, and across each time will tell you how many times it was used, where it was used, and how it was used. So you can do that. Imagine all the things you can do. And it will also tell you, for example, show you where it came from. It'll tell you where, the source of this, or what we call lineage. Technically we use that word, where it came from. And we'll also, and in fact, the dictionary, some of the samples that we use in dictionary, it comes from this application. This is also available online. So currently, we have about 3 million words in Assyrian that's collected here, and our goal is to have 100 million words, which I think we can do it because we have a lot of materials. Remember, we have 500 years worth of materials from the 16th century until now, including in manuscript like Dorigiate and all the books published. Let me resume in my last, so we talk about this. So basically, and this is, all these platforms are available. That tells me my time is up. And what the next stage basically is what we call speech to text. Someone has estimated that human speaks about, any one of us speaks about 16,000 words a day. So if we assume there are 400 million users of English users who speak English, so imagine human can generate almost in the order of trillion of words per day. So for Assyrians, let's say we take a rough estimate. So if we have 500,000 Assyrians speak 16,000 words a day, you do the math, then you'll have about, we are actually generating on average per day about 8 billion words. This is all or what we call oral tradition that we could potentially capture. And that's why this next stage is speech to text is important, and we are working toward that. So what we want from you is your help, and you can donate materials, you can volunteer to help, you can spread the word, you can, we'll teach you how to use these tools, and just reach out. You can scan it, or you can reach out to us, and then we'll, if you're willing to work, this is great work, and I think it's a great cause. And at this time, I'll stop, and I'll give you a chance to ask questions if you have any. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hasso. Now we have few minutes for few questions, and now I warmly ask you to be concrete. Just question in order to have a bit of time for discussion. Yeah, please.
In the search that we're using, traditionally you put the word Michelle, and I know under domain you can choose in English.
Right.
How about the search? Can I use Tom
Yes.
instead of Michelle?
What? Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. You can put English, Assyrian, or if we have Arabic, you can also search by Arabic, or if it's Hebrew, you can search by Hebrew, because I have Hebrew also. I also have Greek. I also have Russian. So, for example, if you want to see all the Russian words that are entered in our language, you can search by it, and you will see it.
Yes, Susan?
It's really an excellent job.
Thank you. Actually, yeah, that's a good question. Jobin Bukhari technically what we call, like if you use ChatGPT, has what we call large language models. Basically, it learns by brute force how language is structured. So that's why if you ask something for ChatGPT to write, it almost writes a perfectly grammatical sentence for you. So that depends on the text. The more text we have, the more corrections we correctly entered into the computer, then it becomes smart. As a matter of fact, we noticed, this was a surprise to us, that even Zoa misspelled, start correcting it. Even though in the original text was mistyped, it corrected it because it learns, and always learns, and it tries to do it the right way. And again, that's if it has some technical explanation, but that has to do with statistics. Thank you for that question.
There was another question, yeah?
So you don't know the spelling of the Syrian word and also type?
Yes, fuzzy. We call it fuzzy search, yes. Yeah, it can do that
Last
too.
question. Then we will stop. Yeah. Then. No, right.
بس والله ما أقول خم الله الله قريبة هذا الجبار. أنا توالي مقابلة في حنان بلاطة خلط أو سورس في الكتابة إن أول خبر إلى الكتاب مقصود الحكي بيجرد من الدروس. أنا خيجوب من بيخز أسرس بينوا بتشنه يعني كل مطابع مصلنا كستي. أنت مصدق ما كل سورس كاملة. يعني أحكي عن جرد كده.
أخنا يولخ قالوا خو سورس. يولخ قالوا خو. لا سب أو إلى مقدرة من image قائية أنا بأمر نخ ميكلتيا so at most it as it إلى available online as a thumb or to download كانوا
من دي مقارنة لديها القرية كتوتا أميلة بشان سورة
تخ لموزيلي
هاي أكيد بس يوم ده ريكورد لأن في شيء ريكورد
oh yeah it's recorded إلى recorded next step إلى text to speech and then these are next projects future
Last question, please, and then we'll go to have breakfast.
Very quick, one of the concerns with digitization, AI is, as you know, well, especially online material can be modified. So my point was just like maybe if you have a comment and also the importance of actually also preserving the physical copies as you were discussing, because we will need to make sure that actually keep them in case we go back to them, like something that Nicholas, like you said,
Right.
custody or YouTube. I just wanted to see if you have a comment on the importance of also keeping the originals.
Yeah, that's beyond me, to be honest with you. I mean, it should be an effort, like we were talking yesterday with Dr. Rawa Qasha, and she was saying that she has materials that it really should be in the custody of maybe some preservation institution that they can preserve it so it's accessible. But the important thing is we need to digitize them first. Those have to be done first. And then you can put it anywhere and you can protect it, like universities or places that will. So that's I can only do so many things. I'm not going to take the responsibility of that, but that's important, very important question. Yeah, I don't know about the other one. Was about the first question was what the correctness. The first question you asked, what was it? I'm sorry.
Oh, it was just the same thing. I was
okay.
mentioning also because we know that, let's say, if you're concerned with digital books, for instance,
yeah.
e-books, is that someone can go and change them. So
yeah.
that could change sometimes could be changes that can have critical consequences.
Right. Well, no. We will not just, randomly pick things. We will pick things that we know they exist in some physical format, and we're only going to the actual source material. And that's...
Thank you very much. A big applause for... Now we are excellent on time to have a coffee break. As I told you, we are going out, and then we will move to the